I was lucky enough to reestablish contact with my favorite elementary school teacher after I entered the education program. Funny enough, she was the only teacher that ever sent me into the hall. She was extremely strict, but really fair, and I remember that she took the time to come and talk with me afterwards and explain the situation. There are 2 pieces of knowledge that she offered that have inspired my teaching. The first was a class demonstration from grade 3. Each child was given a mini tube of toothpaste, and we were told to squeeze it onto our desk. So was that easy, she asked? We all said yes. Well, now you need to put the toothpaste back into the tube. Bewildered, we looked at her as we all tried to do this impossible task. She said, think of the toothpaste as words. They come out easy, but you can't take them back. The second piece of knowledge was a statement. Students won't care what you know until they know that you care. These are 2 important lessons that I always try to base my classroom relations on. Here are some other ideas and questions related to knowing your learners. Know where your students are in their learning. What do they need to learn as individuals in order to meet the end-of-course outcomes? Is there a discrepancy between what I think students need to know and what the program says they should be learning at this point in time? I always start off by gathering information on where students are in their learning when they start class. This helps me see if they have the skills to work at the level prescribed by the course. I acknowledge that gaps exist, so I strive to hit each learner's zone of proximal development. This helps students progress through the course more successfully. Do I know my students' learning preferences? Am I offering the content and resources in a way that provides access for all students? Not only does this involve learning preferences, but I also feel that it encompasses classroom climate and expectations as well. I strive to create a positive classroom climate where goals are high but realistic and students feel comfortable. I want them to take an active role in the learning process and know that making mistakes and creating new knowledge is a huge part of learners' success. How will I know they've learned? Simple tests can sometimes do the trick. But higher order thinking skills require new tools and new ways of evaluating. I try to provide continuous feedback in a variety of ways, including face-to-face meetings, comments on assignments, and using detailed rubrics that explain expectations. This helps my students move forward in their learning. How will I get them interested and active in learning the stuff they need to know? There are many ways to get students actively involved in learning. I try to make sure to have a hook that draws students into my lessons and incorporate novelty into the classroom so students are always on their toes. Before getting too far into the lesson, I make sure the students are aware of the instructional objectives and why it's important. Integrating different activities keeps my students active throughout the course. I make a point of having a closing activity that helps students articulate and synthesize their learning, so they feel their accomplishments and are inspired to continue learning. At the end of the day, professional development is all about asking ourselves what works and what doesn't. Even this can be difficult considering the students and classroom are always changing. The idea is to develop best practices that place students in charge of building their basic skills and using them in multiple contexts so they are prepared for the future. I want to stay true to my personal teaching style while creating a balanced mixture of student-centered and teacher-directed lessons and activities. These are critically chosen with the content, individual, and class in mind. I try to do something every day that will make tomorrow better.